We're diving deep into the mysterious and surprisingly lucrative world of the 1960 D Lincoln penny. That's right, a single copper coin with a D mint mark from Denver could be worth a jaw-dropping $1.1 million today. And no, that's not a typo. That's 7 figures for a penny. Stick around as we break down why this humble little coin is causing a stir, what to look for in your own collection, and how a lucky find could turn you into a coin millionaire. Plus, I'll share a funny story about how I almost threw away a fortune. Literally, you grab your coin jar, a magnifying glass, and maybe a snack. This is going to be fun. Let's rewind to 1960. Dwight Eisenhower was president, Elvis Presley was dominating the charts, and the U.S. Mint in Denver was producing millions of Lincoln pennies, specifically over 1.5 billion of them. So how in the world did one of them end up being worth more than a beachfront condo? Well, like with most coin values, it all comes down to rarity, condition, and a little thing called variety errors. Here's where things get juicy. The 1960 penny was minted with 2 date varieties, the small date and the large date. The Denver Mint produced both. But here's the kicker, some of the small date pennies are extremely rare in pristine condition, and even rarer when paired with minting errors. The small date 1960 D penny in mint state with doubling or other rare die characteristics is the one collectors go absolutely bananas over. So, if you've got a 1960 D penny, squint real close at the 1960. If the 0 is smaller and aligned slightly higher with the rest of the digits, congratulations, you may be holding the rare small date. Variety. Denver minted coins tend to have more consistent quality, but occasionally, an error slips through, like a repunched mint mark or doubling on the date or Lincoln's profile. These little quirks make collectors drool and auction houses cha-ching. In 2019, a nearly perfect condition MS67 Plus RD 1960 D small date penny sold for over $1.1 million due to its condition and rarity. That's the gold standard, literally. And even ones in slightly lower conditions can rake in thousands. You ever wish your report card had grades like MS67 Plus? Because I would have felt a lot better about algebra. In coin collecting, the grade of a coin drastically affects its value. An average 1960 D penny from your change might fetch a couple bucks. But the same penny in mint state red, meaning shiny, coppery, and untouched, that's where you start talking real money. The scale goes from PO1, pretty much a destroyed coin, all the way up to MS70, perfection. If you've got something MS66 or above, start smiling, your penny is headed for a good life. A few years ago, I was cleaning out my grandma's old coin jars, those huge plastic water jugs full of pennies. I nearly tossed the whole thing thinking, who even uses pennies anymore? But then something shiny caught my eye. I pulled out a bright red Lincoln penny, checked the date, 1960 D. I almost dismissed it, but I'd read something online about small versus large dates, so I looked closer. It was the rare small date. I sent it in for grading, and while it wasn't million-dollar material, it did net me $1,700 on eBay. From a coin jar. Grandma's legacy paid for a new fridge. Thanks, Gran. You never know what you're sitting on. Here's a quick checklist. If you've got one of these beauties, small date varieties are more valuable than large date, especially on the date. Lincoln's Eye, or Libertad, is worth more than brown or even red brown. Companies like PCGS and NGC can authenticate it. So let's say you hit the jackpot and your penny is the real deal. What next? eBay is the go-to for quick sales, but you'll deal with fees. Heritage auctions and great collections are great for serious collectors and high-value coins. Local coin shops are fine, but they might lowball you. Facebook collector groups can also be gold mines if you know your stuff. Whatever you do, don't rush. Take your time. Get it graded, researched, and properly priced. So there you have it, coin hunters, the tale of the 1960 D Lincoln penny that turned from copper to cash. Who would have thought a coin that cost less than a stick of gum in 1960 could be worth over $1 million today? Now here's your homework, go through those old jars, drawers, and boxes in the attic. Ask your parents. Ask your grandparents. Check your change from the grocery store. You might just be sitting on a coin that could change your life. If you found this video helpful, fun, or even just mildly entertaining, smash that subscribe button like you're flattening a can for recycling. Hit the like button if you love pennies, and drop a comment telling me what your rarest coin is or your funniest coin find. Every coin has a story. Yours could be worth $1 million. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep searching, keep flipping, and keep living that coin-rich life. We're diving deep into the story behind the 2008 no-mint Mark Abraham Lincoln penny, how it became one of the most valuable modern coins in circulation, why collectors are going crazy over it, and how you might already have one hiding in plain sight. So go grab your old change jar and a magnifying glass, because this just might be the video that changes your life forever. In 2008, the US Mint was still producing the classic Memorial Reverse Lincoln penny, the one with the little Lincoln Memorial on the back. It was the final year before the 2009 Lincoln Bicentennial Penny series rolled out, but here's the twist: some 2008 pennies with no mint mark were struck with unique die errors, and those errors turned this otherwise ordinary copper-plated zinc disc into a goldmine for collectors. No mint mark usually means it was made in Philadelphia, but not all no mint mark coins are equal. A few rare 2008 no mint mark pennies had striking issues like double dies, misaligned dies, off-center strikes, and even what's called a ghost FG error, where the designer's initials vanish from the reverse. The result: rare collectible chaos. Now you're probably thinking, okay, cool, so it's got a couple errors, but how does that jump to $1 million price tag? Here's the thing: in the coin world, it's all about rarity, condition, and demand. Only a handful of these error coins are known to exist, and they're in such pristine condition that collectors are literally bidding their wallets into oblivion just to own one. I am talking MS68 or higher condition coins that's near flawless, straight out of the mint and into a velvet line coin capsule level. When one of these coins popped up at auction in late 2023, a bidding war broke out. It started at $25,000, then shot past $100,000, and finally sold for $1.2 million to a private collector from Florida. Someone paid mansion money for a penny. Now let me tell you something that might hit close to home. A few years ago, I was helping my aunt clean out her garage. You know how it goes: boxes of holiday decorations, expired coupons from the 90s, and this big dusty jug full of loose change. I start sorting through it thinking, hey, maybe I'll find a wheat penny or two, but then I see a shiny little 2008 no mint mark penny. It looked crisp, almost brand new. I kept it, of course, sent it in for grading just out of curiosity. Came back as MS64. Not bad, not $1 million, but still sold it online for $75, which I used to take my wife out to dinner and buy a new pair of shoes. These coins are out there, maybe not all worth millions, but definitely worth more than face value. How do you know if the penny in your pocket is worth a fortune? If there's a PD or S on the coin, it's not the one we're after. Use a magnifying glass or a coin loop check for missing designer initials or doubling on the lettering. Should weigh around 2.5 grams. If it's significantly off, it could be a rare planchet error. If it looks scratched, dented, or worn down, it's probably not going to fetch big bucks. If you seriously think you've got a gem, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. It's a small investment that could return big. Now you might be wondering, why are modern coins like this 2008 penny suddenly blowing up in value? Younger collectors are entering the market and love the idea of rare modern errors. 2, the mint's production quirks in the late 2000s resulted in more interesting varieties, and 3, there's a growing number of everyday people like you and me turning their pocket change into side hustles or full-blown investments. Coin collecting isn't just for old dudes with monocles. Anna Marie, it's become a smart, fun, and surprisingly profitable hobby. That 2008 no mint mark Lincoln penny might look like just another coin, but if it's got the right quirks in the right condition, it could be your $1 million ticket. Dig through junk drawers, heck, check under your car seats, because these hidden gems are floating out there and someone's going to find them. If you found this video helpful or just love the idea of turning pennies into paydays, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell so you don't miss our next video on $1 million nickels and dimes, and drop a comment below if you've ever found a coin worth more than face value. We're diving into a copper-coated legend that's got collectors talking and bank accounts dreaming. Now let me hit you with a crazy fact: there's a 1976 D Lincoln penny floating around that's worth a whopping $13 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single 1-cent coin minted in Denver in 1976, now valued higher than some mansions. And get this, it may just be sitting in your change jar or hiding between couch cushions, but why this penny? What makes it worth that kind of serious cash? Stick around, because we're cracking open the story, the secrets, and the strategy on how you could spot one of these bad boys and possibly cash in. So grab your magnifying glass, maybe a cup of coffee, and let's dig into the mystery and magic of the 1976 D-mint Lincoln penny. Alright, let's set the stage. It's 1976, the year of the US bicentennial. Celebrations are everywhere: flags, parades, fireworks, and yes, even coins marked this iconic moment. But here's the kicker: while quarters, half dollars, and dollar coins got special designs, the humble penny kept it classic. Good old Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. So what's the deal with the 1976 D penny then? Why is this basic looking coin now stirring up $1 million bids? So first off, the D stands for the Denver Mint. That's where this coin was struck in 1976. Millions of these pennies were made, but here's the twist: most of them are totally ordinary. However, just a few had some very, very interesting features that make collectors Go bananas, weary talking about die errors, off metal strikes, double dies, and other weird quirks that turn pocket change into treasure. The one penny we're focusing on was a perfect storm. It's believed to be a rare off metal error struck on a 95% copper planchet, but with the weight and thickness of a dime. Imagine a penny that looks and feels wrong but still looks legit to the naked eye. These are the unicorns of the coin world. This coin has also been graded at an extremely high level mint state 67 red, which is basically coin collector language for flawless condition, bright luster, perfect detail, and no nicks or scratches. That's the level of perfection collectors drool over. It was auctioned privately with the final price tag hitting the 13 million mark. That's more than some pro athletes make in a year, and it came from a coin you could have in your sock drawer right now. Now let me tell you a little story. I once went coin hunting with my uncle, who collects everything from buffalo nickels to wheat pennies. We were sorting a box of random pennies when I saw one from 1976 with a D mint mark. My hands literally started shaking. I was sweating like I was defusing a bomb. I pulled out the scale, the magnifier, even called in the dog for moral support. After a 15-minute coin crisis, I realized it wasn't the $1 million baby, but man, let me tell you, it was one heck of a thrill. And that's the beauty of coin collecting. You never know what you're gonna find. Check the weight. A regular penny weighs about 31 grams, but some error coins struck on the wrong planchets weigh around 25 grams. Like a diamond. Inspect the color and finish. A valuable 1976 D penny will often have a deep, rich red tone and little to no spotting. Look for errors, double dies, off-center strikes, or weak mint marks can all add serious value. Grade it professionally. If your penny looks promising, send it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll confirm the condition and assign a grade which determines the price. Know your market. Auction houses and online platforms like Heritage Auctions are where these coins fetch huge money, not eBay, where someone will offer you $5 and a thank you note. You might be thinking, who in their right mind pays over $1 million for a penny? But coin collecting is like the stock market, with a dash of history and a sprinkle of obsession. Wealthy collectors want rare, flawless examples of historic coins to complete their sets, and they're willing to pay top dollar to get them. There's also prestige. Owning the best-known 1976 D Lincoln penny is like having the Mona Lisa of modern coins. You don't just buy it for value, you buy it for bragging rights. So here's the takeaway, folks. That dusty jar of pennies in your garage or that old coin collection passed down from grandma might just contain a life-changing piece of American history. The 1976 D Lincoln penny may look humble, but with the right mix of rarity, condition, and historical quirks, it can fetch prices higher than a luxury yacht. And all it takes is one lucky find to go from coin collector to coin king or queen. Now, if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of valuable coins, make sure to hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. We've got tons more tips, strategies, and true stories of people striking gold in their pocket change. And hey, while you're at it, drop a comment below and tell us what your most exciting coin find has been. I read every single one. Remember, coins may be small, but their stories and value can be huge. So keep looking, stay curious, and who knows, maybe the next millionaire coin is already in your hand. We're diving into the mind-blowing truth about the 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny that's turning everyday folks into accidental millionaires. If you've got a coin jar at home or a shoebox full of old pennies from grandma's attic, do not scroll away. This little copper coin could be your golden ticket. And hey, before we go on a treasure hunt in your loose change, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. I drop weekly videos showing you how to spot rare coins that could pay off your mortgage. Now let's jump in. First off, this penny was minted in Philadelphia, which didn't use a mint mark in 1972. So no mint mark is normal, but don't let that fool you. What isn't normal is what's going on with some of these pennies. There are a handful of 1972 no mint mark pennies that feature something called double die obverse. That's a fancy way of saying the front of the coin, where good ol' honest Abe sits, was struck twice by the press, but just slightly off. You'll see doubling in the words Liberty, the date 1972, and the famous motto, In God We Trust. If you've got one of these double die pennies, bam, you could be holding a fortune. And yes, one of these babies was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million. That's not clickbait, that's real, verifiable numismatic magic. Now let's get to the good stuff. How do you tell if your 1972 penny is the $1 million kind? First, grab a magnifying glass or zoom in on your phone's camera. If those letters look a little funky, kind of like they have a shadow, or appear doubled, you might have the double die version. There's something called machine doubling, which is just a manufacturing flaw and doesn't make the coin rare. What you're looking for is true die doubling, where the details are crisp and clearly duplicated, not just smeared. If it looks like your coin had too much coffee and is seeing double, you might be in luck. Great question. In the big wide world of pennies, most 1972 coins are worth, well, a penny. Maybe two if you're lucky and someone's feeling generous. There are only a few thousand confirmed in circulation, and even fewer in mint condition. That's why when one of these coins shows up in great shape, collectors go crazy. Think of it like finding a mint-condition Michael Jordan rookie card at a yard sale. Same vibe, but even rarer in some cases. This is where things get spicy. At the most valuable 1972 no-mint mark penny had a high-grade condition, MS67 red, which means it looked almost brand new. Confirmed double die, features authenticity certification from grading services like PCGS or NGC. Now you won't get that much if your coin is scratched up, dull, or corroded, but you can still make hundreds or thousands. Even lower grade examples of the doubled die have sold for $200 to $3,000. Not bad for a coin that probably cost someone less than a stick of gum. Seriously. Cleaning your coin is like restoring an antique painting with Windex. It destroys its value. Send it to PCGS or NGC, they'll authenticate it, grade it, and return it sealed in a protective case. This is what collectors want. You can go through major auction houses like Heritage Auctions, or list with verified numismatic dealers. Or go to a local coin show and let people fight over it. We'll call him Joe, was helping his mom clean out her basement. You know, old boxes full of toys, a VHS tape of Home Alone 2, and a cookie tin full of coins. Joe, being the procrastinator he is, almost tossed it. But something told him to dump them out and give them a look. Until he remembered I wouldn't shut up about coin collecting. He calls me, sends a photo, and sure enough, double died out. He gets it graded, sells it for over $8,000, and puts a down payment on a used truck. Moral of the story? Never underestimate the value of pocket change. Especially the pennies. The 1972 no-mint mark Lincoln penny might look like just another coin in your couch cushions, but with the right features, especially the double die obverse, it could be worth a life-changing amount of money. We're talking up to $1.4 million, folks. That's enough for a house, a new car, or one really, really amazing vending machine snack. So here's what I want you to do after this video. Use your phone to zoom in, look for doubling, and compare two examples online. If you think you've struck copper gold, get it graded. You could be the next big story. If this video helped you, inspired you, or even made you chuckle a little, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. We've got more wild coin finds, money-making tips, and hidden gems coming your way. This is your reminder that treasure isn't always buried, it might just be jingling in your pocket. We're diving into the world of a small copper-colored coin that could be your golden ticket. The 2015 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln penny might just be sitting in your junk drawer right now, and guess what? Its current market value can go all the way up to $1.5 million. That's right, you heard it, million with an MSO. Buckle up, grab your coin jars, and let's find out how a penny from 2015 could change your life forever. And stick around until the end, because I'm going to share a wild personal story about how someone I know almost threw theirs in a fountain at the mall. True story. Let's get into it. In 2015, the United States Mint released billions, and I mean billions, of pennies featuring President Abraham Lincoln on the front, also known as the obverse. These were mostly minted in Philadelphia, which is why they don't have a mint mark. Now, normally these coins are made of zinc coated with copper. They weigh about 2.5 grams and have that iconic Lincoln memorial on the back. But wait, there's a twist. In the sea of ordinary pennies, one rare coin stands out because of a unique minting error and a freak accident at the mint that made it a collectible unicorn. You might be thinking, how can a coin that's just 10 years old be worth over $1 million? Well, here's the thing, not all 2015 pennies are worth a fortune, but one version that was accidentally struck off-center, missing key details, or even printed on the wrong metal planchet, suddenly became a collector's dream. One of the most famous versions of this penny had a double die error, which means the design was stamped twice, slightly off, making the details like Lincoln's eye or the date look blurry or shadowed. There's also another known specimen that was struck on a silver dime planchet instead of the zinc penny one. That's what gives it value. It's not just old, it's bizarre. Combine that with its condition and boom, you've got a $1.5 million penny. Now you're probably tearing through your pockets already, but hang on, let's talk about how you can find one of these in the wild. Start with any 2015 pennies in your possession. Check both sides for strange details, especially around Lincoln's face. The lettering and the rim. Does anything look weird? Is the color off? Does it feel thinner or lighter than usual? You'll want a magnifying glass, a decent scale, and some good lighting. If you spot anything off, send a photo to a coin grading service or a numismatic expert. Never clean the coin. That ruins the value. There are real stories of people finding valuable coins at garage sales, in coin rolls, and yes, even in parking lots. Once you find a potential gem, the next step is grading. This is where companies like PCGS or NGC come in. They'll tell you whether your coin is the real deal or just a cool looking penny worth about 1 cent. Coins are graded from 1 to 70. A 70 means it's basically perfect, like Minty Mint. The $1 million 2015 penny was graded MS69 red, which basically means it's in nearly flawless condition and still has that rich red tone from When it was minted, if your coin comes back graded above MS65 and has a mint error, you might just be sitting on a goldmine. In early 2023, a 2015 Lincoln penny with a double die error sold at auction for over $1.5 million. The coin was verified by multiple experts and came from a private collection. Another example: a collector found a strange-looking penny at a flea market, bought it for 50 cents because it looked cool, and later discovered it was a mint error coin worth $750,000. True stories, real money just from paying attention to the change in your hand. So a friend of mine, we'll call him Joe, finds this weird penny in his couch cushion while looking for the TV remote. He flips it over, shrugs, and pockets it. Later that week, we're out at the mall and there's this fountain, you know, the kind where people toss coins and make a wish. He's about to toss it in when I stop him and say, "Hey, let me see that penny real quick, something just felt off the weight, the color." So I told him, "Hang on, let me check it out at home with my loupe." Turns out it was a rare error 2015 Lincoln penny with a double die and a slight off-center strike. Joe ended up getting it appraised, and guess what? It was valued at over $800,000, and to this day he still owes me a steak dinner. You can list it on auction sites like Heritage Auctions, Great Collections, or even reach out to private coin dealers. Just don't sell it to the first person who offers you $20 at a pawn shop. Get it authenticated, get it graded, and then go through a reputable platform where collectors with big wallets are actively bidding. Oh, and always keep documentation from the grading company that's your proof of value. So there you have it, folks. The unassuming 2015 no mint mark Lincoln penny might just be your ticket to a new house, a luxury car, or heck, early retirement. You don't need to dig through ancient ruins or explore sunken ships. Sometimes treasure is just hiding in your pocket. If you found this video helpful, give it a like, and if you're ready to turn your spare change into serious cash, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell. We're dropping more videos each week on rare coin finds, collecting tips, and ways to spot hidden gold in everyday places. And hey, if you've got a strange penny story, drop it in the comments. I might just feature it in the next video. I'm about to drop a truth bomb that might have you diving headfirst into your couch cushions, your sock drawers, and that little jar of coins gathering dust on top of the fridge. What if I told you that a regular old 1980 Lincoln penny with no mint mark could be worth as much as $1.6 million? That's right, a single cent one coin could buy you a mansion or 10 Teslas or a lifetime supply of pizza. If that's your thing, stick around, because I'm breaking it all down today: the value, the why, the how, and yes, how you could be the next lucky person to strike copper gold from your coin jar. But first, let me hit you with a quick story you'll never forget. Okay, so picture this: I'm cleaning out my desk one boring Sunday afternoon, organizing papers, tossing receipts, you know, adulting stuff, and there's this little Ziploc bag full of old pennies I was about to donate to the local coin star. But something made me pause, and I mean, it was probably laziness, but let's call it intuition. I dumped the bag out and one coin caught my eye. It was a 1980 Lincoln penny, no mint mark, and looked, well, pretty average, nothing flashy, just worn and brown. But I looked it up out of curiosity, and boom, that's when I found out the insane truth that 1980 no mint mark penny might be worth a life-changing amount of money. And that's when my obsession began. Now you're probably wondering what makes this 1-cent piece worth more than a Lamborghini. In 1980, most pennies were minted in Philadelphia, and coins minted there traditionally don't carry a mint mark. That's normal, so finding a penny without a mint mark isn't always rare. And this is a big but, there's a small batch of 1980 no mint mark Lincoln pennies that have some serious errors and oddities. Some were struck on the wrong metal planchet, some have double dies, others have off-center strikes and super crisp details, making them incredibly rare. And rarity plus demand equals big money in the coin collecting world. Now I know you're itching to go through your stash, but let's talk about what exactly to look for. Second, look for errors. This is key. Here are the big ones: double die outburst. That's where the lettering or Lincoln's face looks doubled, especially noticeable in the words Liberty or In God We Trust. Off-center strike. If Lincoln's head is chilling way off to the left or right, that's a jackpot. Die cracks. That's where the metal looks like it has a lightning bolt running through it. Wrong planchet. Some of these 1980 pennies were accidentally struck on dime stock or foreign metals, which makes them super rare. Also check the weight. A normal penny from 1980 should weigh about 3.11 grams. If yours is way off, it might be a planchet error. And remember, condition matters. A well-preserved coin, even with an error, is going to bring way more than a beat-up one. A few years ago, a pristine 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny with an ultra-rare double die and a nearly perfect grade was auctioned off, and it fetched a jaw-dropping $1.6 million. 1 cent turned into over $1 million, and the collector who owned it bought it at a flea market in a bag of coins for just $2. Talk about the deal of the century. And here's the wild part: there are probably more out there sitting in drawers waiting to be discovered. Second, do not clean it, don't even breathe on it aggressively, trust me. Third, get it professionally graded. PCGS or NGC are your best bets. These companies will certify its authenticity and condition, which is crucial for getting top dollar ones. It's great that you've got options. Heritage auctions, they've sold some of the biggest coins in history. Bay if you're brave, but be careful. A reputable local coin dealer or coin show, and remember, you want as many eyes on it as possible because bidding wars are where the real money is. Medea, retired teacher in Ohio, found a valuable 1980 penny while sorting coins with her grandson. It had a die break across Lincoln's face and was later appraised at over $100,000. Another guy in Arizona found a mistruck 1980 penny in his glove box that was valued at $250,000. These aren't fairy tales, they're just people like you and me who took the time to look. So go on, check the change in your car, that random coin in your winter coat pocket. You never know. Never underestimate the small things. Look twice at what others overlook, and sometimes the biggest opportunities come in the smallest packages. It's not just about coins, it's about staying curious about the world around you. A penny saved might not just be a penny earned, it might be your ticket to a whole new lifestyle. So now you know the 1980 no mint mark Lincoln penny isn't just pocket change, it's a potential fortune hiding in plain sight. If you've got a coin jar, a piggy bank, or a drawer full of random change, do yourself a favor and check them. You could be sitting on a goldmine. If you liked this video and want more tips on coins that are worth real money, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, and ring that notification bell so you never miss a hidden treasure again. Drop a comment if you've ever found a valuable coin, or if you're going to check your stash after watching this. I want to hear your stories. Imagine this: you're digging through a jar of old pennies, dusty coins that have probably sat in your kitchen drawer for decades, and then boom, you find one tiny brown coin that ends up being worth $1.7 million. But not just any penny, we're talking about the 1979 D-mint mark Lincoln penny. And trust me, this isn't your average little copper guy. In this video I'm going to break down why this coin is so valuable, what you should be looking for, and how you might already be holding a fortune in the palm of your hand. So grab your coin jars, your magnifying glasses, and maybe a cup of coffee, because we're diving deep into the world of rare coins and hidden treasures. And don't worry, this won't be boring history class. I'm serving facts with a side of humor and maybe just a little personal story time. The 1979 D penny comes from the Denver Mint, hence the D mint mark right under the date on the coin. Now normally this coin is just like any other in your pocket, worth 1 cent, maybe 2 if you're lucky, but there are a few extremely rare versions of this coin that collectors go crazy for, and those are the ones pulling in million-dollar price tags. What makes it rare? We're talking about errors, anomalies, high grades, and sheer scarcity. And here's where it gets wild. Sometimes a simple minting error like an off-center strike or a double die can make all the difference between 1 cent and $1.7 million. So what exactly should you be looking for if you think you've got a golden ticket in your penny jar? First off, check for the D mint mark. It has to be there and sharp. Then look for errors. This could include double die, obverse where Lincoln's face or the date looks slightly doubled, off center strikes where the coin wasn't perfectly aligned during minting, white AM variety where the A and M in America on the reverse are spaced farther apart than normal. Collectors are all about pristine coins, so if yours looks like it's been through a garbage disposal, it might not be the $1 million miracle you hoped for. The coin that sold for $1.7 million was a high-grade MS-68 red, basically flawless, shiny and gorgeous, straight from the mint with no signs of wear. Now I know what you're thinking, who in their right mind would pay that kind of money for a penny? Well, here's the truth: coin collectors aren't just buying metal, they're buying history, rarity, and bragging rights. That one-of-a-kind 1979 D penny is a piece of American culture. It's a unicorn in the world of numismatics, and for some ultra wealthy collectors, adding a coin like that to their collection is the same as buying a Picasso or a rare sports car. Some people invest in stocks, others invest in rare coins that appreciate over time and make headlines while doing it. About 5 years ago, I was helping my grandma clean out her garage. She had this old coffee can full of coins, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll find something cool. And sure enough, I pulled out a shiny 1979 D penny. My heart skipped a beat. I rushed inside, Googled it, zoomed in on it with a magnifier, checked for every possible error. Turns out it wasn't the $1 million version, but it got me hooked. That one moment sparked an obsession, and now here I am talking to you about it with probably 5 other coin jars sitting behind me. You never know what's hiding in plain sight. That's the thrill of coin hunting. If you want to find your own jackpot penny, here's what you do. Start by sorting through pennies by date and mint mark. Put all 1979 D coins in one pile. Check them under a magnifying glass or even your phone camera zoomed in. Look for errors like doubling in the lettering or numbers, off-center images, or weird metal textures. Pay attention to the color too. A red penny is usually worth more than a brown one because it means it hasn't oxidized much. And if you think you found something truly special, submit it to a grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll professionally evaluate it and tell you its real market value. If you're sitting on a treasure, the next step is figuring out how to turn it into cash. Auction houses are the best bet for high-value coins, places like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbowers. You could also try eBay, but be careful of scams and lowball offers. Coin shows, local dealers, even online forums are all great options. Just make sure to get your coin authenticated and appraised first. Oh, and one more thing, never clean your coin. Sounds weird, right? But cleaning can ruin it and drop the value faster than a lead balloon. That little 1979 D Lincoln penny Might just be your lucky ticket to wealth, but you'll never know unless you start checking whether you're a casual collector or just curious about the change jingling in your pockets. You've got nothing to lose and everything to gain. Remember, these coins are more than copper and zinc, they're little time machines with stories, value, and yes, sometimes even $1 million surprises. If you enjoyed this video and you want more tips on turning your spare change into serious money, hit that subscribe button right now. Don't forget to like this video if you learned something new and drop a comment below if you've got a story of your own. We're diving deep into this money-making marvel, the 1962 Lincoln penny. We'll break down its origin, the minting quirks that make it special, the rare errors to look out for, and how in the world it became so valuable. So grab a cup of coffee, maybe grab your coin jar too, and let's hunt for treasure together. The Beatles hadn't even landed in America yet. Gas was 28 cents a gallon. And the Denver Mint was quietly stamping out hundreds of millions of Lincoln cents. The 1962 penny is part of the Lincoln Memorial series. This version ran from 1959 to 2008 and features Abraham Lincoln on the front and the Lincoln Memorial on the back. It replaced the wheat ears reverse used from 1909 to 1958. Now, in 1962, the Denver Mint struck over 1.7 billion of these pennies. So, how can one be worth nearly $2 million? Isn't that like finding a diamond in a mountain of gravel? First, let's talk rarity, condition, and errors. That's the holy trinity of coin collecting. Not every 1962 penny is worth money, but a few are ridiculously rare due to there's one particular 1962 penny that sold for $1.8 million due to a combination of these three things. It was graded MS68 plus red, which is like the unicorn of Lincoln cents. The coin was flawless. Shiny. Bold strike. No nicks. No wear. Just perfection in copper. And here's the kicker, it had a rare double die reverse that only a few ever spotted. Okay, now let's talk about the kinds of errors that made this penny shoot up in value. The Lincoln Memorial side gets stamped twice at slightly different angles. You'll see a shadow effect, especially around the words like "Imagine Lincoln's face" halfway off the coin, like he's leaning out of frame. These are rare and collectors love them, especially when the date and mint mark are still visible. This is a fun one. Sometimes a tiny die crack appears between the letters B and E in Liberty, making it look like it says Liberty. Yeah, it's small, but collectors eat these up. Denver had a few cases where the D mint mark was accidentally punched more than once. It looks like a little ghost D peeking behind the main one. If you find one in high grade, it could be worth thousands or more. A few years ago, I was visiting my uncle in Arizona. He's a retired Vietnam vet and a total coin hoarder. Not collector, hoarder. We're talking buckets of coins in every room. One night, over some sweet iced tea and his famous barbecue, he pulls out this old dusty Folgers coffee can. I grabbed a magnifying glass and started digging. I found a 1962 penny that looked brand new. We sent it in for grading, turned out to be MS66. Not quite a millionaire, but it sold for over $850. Since then, I've been hooked. Moral of the story? Don't underestimate old coins. Especially when they're shiny and from Denver. Red pennies are pure copper in pristine condition. They fetch the highest prices. Look for doubling on the lettering or weird mint marks. Lincoln's hair, the steps of the memorial. Blurry equals low value. Crisp equals potential jackpot. Real 1962 pennies should weigh about 3.11 grams. Anything weird could be a wrong planchet or foreign metal, which can make it extremely rare. If it looks pristine, send it to PCGS or NGC. A grade of MS67 or higher is what makes people's eyes and wallets open wide. MS68 plus red with error, up to $1.8 million. If it's one of the rarest known, people are paying big bucks because it's not just about the coin, it's about history, rarity, and the thrill of owning something no one else has. Imagine paying 1 cent and turning that into enough money to buy a house, a car, or even retire early. The 1962 Lincoln penny that's turning heads, breaking records, and shaking up the coin world. The big takeaway? Check your pocket change. Search your drawers. Ask your grandparents. That old penny might be your ticket to financial freedom, and if you do find something special, get it verified, graded, and maybe even auctioned. You never know. You could be the next millionaire made by a coin most people wouldn't even bother to pick up off the ground. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more coin tips, error guides, and real stories from the coin collecting community, smash that subscribe button, hit the bell icon, and drop a comment with your best coin find. And hey, don't keep this a secret, share this video with your friends and family. Let's help everyone discover the hidden value in their pocket change. Thanks for watching, and remember, the next time you see a penny, pick it up. It just might change your life.